Hey, G-Sippers.
Here's former Vice President Kamala Harris calling out Donald.
Yeah, I want to catch this about Kamala and the CIA. Do y'all know? Did y'all know? I'll play this.
Trump's weaponization of the Justice Department during an exclusive interview with MSNBC's The Weekend, our own Eugene Daniels. And what we see is that the rule of law is very much under attack by this president, who thinks that the Department of Justice is his personal lawyer.
Hey, Cynthia.
And it's basically subverting the will of the people around constitutional safeguards. Joining us now is former CIA Director John Brennan. He is now an MSNBC senior national security and intelligence analyst. He's also one of the president's legal targets. In July, the Justice Department acknowledged it had opened an investigation into Director Brennan. Dr. Brennan, thanks for being here. Sure. With us. So I think specifically about the Eastern District of Virginia and the fact that this is an office that has historically been focused on terrorism cases, national security cases. What is the cost of their being focused on anything other than the actual threats to the homeland?
Well, I think there are two main costs. One is the opportunity cost, that they're not pursuing the cases that they need to pursue, whether it's something related to terrorism or counterintelligence or one of the things that's really threatening our national security. Because the Eastern District of Virginia, as you said, has been the basis for carrying out some of these indictments and pursuing justice.
Hey.
But the other one is that it's undermining the credibility of the Department of Justice.
Yeah, we're going to
if Donald Trump sends
listen to what Putin has to say about the threat,
that he's going to be politicizing that office.
Not only of Donald Trump.
Is so important and so valuable in terms of our national security. And so again, an opportunity cost that's lost, but also undermining the credibility and the legitimacy
but for,
of the indictments that they're going to bring forward. So I think it is really just raising some serious questions across the board.
Do I have it on
You have this ongoing
Trump
effort to raise
and
those questions, quite honestly. It's deliberate. I mean, they want to create the tension and the confusion within the
BB not knew me.
That stand up
Not gonna knew me.
the pillars of
Ain't
law
gonna do
and
me.
order and justice and public service.
And also Diddy.
I asked you before, Director
Diddy
Brennan,
done
about
popped up
specifically
again.
about the agency that you
We
once
need to
led
hear
and
this
the impact that
lawsuit.
has had on them at that time. Now I'm broadening
It's
that
the
back
guy
a little bit further
this
and
time.
looking at the system-wide deconstruction, the wholesale firing of federal employees indiscriminately, shutting
Let's
down
listen
the
to
federal
this and
government.
something else I want to tell y'all.
Alicia.
Did y'all know that Trump was trying to reverse executive order, I guess? Reversal of the segregation. Did y'all know that? Did y'all know that? That Trump was a bill or a special executive order to reverse segregation. Did y'all know that? You ain't know that? I may need to go there first before I do this. Whoo, I may need to go there quickly. I'm trying to hear what this XCI.
These levels of disruption.
Is he a CIA?
Happening right now in the Middle East. I mean, I don't even know how there's a plan.
Yeah, we're gonna tap into that a little bit too. So I hope y'all come in hitting the like button so I don't have to shut it down.
The success of the plan the president just with Bravo completed, at least phase one. How does the rank and file members across the government look at this and go, why do I go to work tomorrow? Well, they can't right now, but at some point, how do they get back into this? In a way
and y'all do know that this peace deal that he's so proud of, the same exact deal was presented to Israel with Biden, and it was about to be signed 10 months ago. And Not Gonna Sue Me met up with Trump in Mar-a-Lago, discussed the deal that it would be beneficial for them both to keep the war going until he gets back in office. Did y'all know that? Biden congratulated him and everything. So did Hillary. But this same deal, it was nothing different that was presented. Same deal that Biden put in place. Well, presented and was about to be signed, and they stalled it out after he met with Trump in Mar-a-Lago.
About what it does to the mission. As you point out, all of these agencies and departments that try to keep this country strong and safe domestically, but also allow us to do what we need to do internationally. If we don't have those federal workers who are going into the office, and they just spend more.
Oh yeah, they laid off what 600 people today.
So the ones that really
300.
And if you have a administration who is, as you say, deconstructing that federal government, the so-called administrative state, it really hollows out the ability of this country and this government to be able to deal with these domestic issues. And I've talked to so many people who are leaving the government or have left the government, but also what I'm finding, talking to college students across the country, they're wondering, why should they even think about a career in public service, going into the Foreign Service or going into the FBI or CIA? I think they really are now very concerned that the public service that they thought was going to be part of their professional career is no longer the public service that they thought, because it is being politicized and weaponized, and it's really, really quite unfortunate. And I think a lot of people around the globe are just looking at this country and looking at the government saying, what has happened to the United States? And we're all asking that question.
The vice president kind of spoke to this very thing in that interview she did with Eugene Daniels. Let's play another clip. Ever wondered what happens when legs like these almost suddenly become like this? Cases like this are practically
Y'all please come in hitting the like button.
I think he has a vengeance campaign, which is, I think, really exposing the petty nature of who he is and his deep level of insecurity, that he feels that he has to use the power of the federal government and the United States Department of Justice to go after people who have disagreed with him, or as prosecutors who have used a combination of the facts and law to prosecute him. I don't think her calling it a vengeance campaign is hyperbole. To me, it feels like that is now the administration's governing philosophy, if you will. Like, that's the ideology around it. Retribution is no longer a symptom of what's happening. Retribution is the system.
It's hard to understand why he feels he has to do this. He has such enormous power and influence, probably more than any recent president. Republicans have the House and the Senate, and he has a real stranglehold over the Republican Party. And so why is he
and
squandering this opportunity,
Supreme Court,
trying to divide us? His insecurity keeps coming out every time, including today when he was talking in the Knesset, just condemning his predecessors. Why does he have to do that? He could be somebody who could help heal this country. I think everybody is hoping that he's going to change course, but he repeatedly continues to go on this vengeance tour, but also to condemn and criticize people who came before him, people who tried to do their best, but yet he still has this insensitivity, insecurity that he is just, reacts to this. And, I'm sure the psychologists out there, are really looking at the
Maybe they're having a field day.
Why does he do this? He doesn't need to do it.
You made an argument earlier that I thought was very astute, which was connecting sort of the campaign of retribution that we've seen here at home and a question about whether or not, as Donald Trump positions himself on the world stage as a person who can bring peace in various regions, if those things are inherently in conflict. Right. And I want to be very clear. The ceasefire is a very big deal. The hostages coming home is important. It's been 2 years, and finally they have come home. I can just imagine how their families are feeling. But we do not have a peace deal yet. We haven't seen any piece of paper. We haven't seen, where's the plan for the Palestinians? And it just made me wonder, Director Brennan, how can the same government that is targeting critics at home, how can they credibly be trusted to negotiate and bring peace and justice abroad? How? Those two things seem disconnected to me.
Well, it just shows the enormous influence and power of the United States, because the United States had the ability to actually forge this deal. Yes, Donald Trump, pushed Netanyahu, thankfully.
Do you guys remember? Probably not.
This is the same deal that they could have had a year ago.
So yes, but I do give them credit for the achievement, as you said today, releasing the hostages and having the exchange of prisoners and so on. But, the ability to actually carry this forward and to move it ahead, I don't think Donald Trump understands the magnitude of the challenge going ahead. This was important, and I don't think we should take anything away from it. But there needs to be continued focus on trying to make sure that all of the ingredients of that 20-point plan are going to be moved forward.
He don't care nothing about the U.S.
And all of the destruction that's taking place there, it's going to be quite a lift to be able to make sure that the security is going to be in place, that the construction activity, that the funding, the finances, other types of things, these are all things that have to happen. And so I'm hoping that Steve Witkoff and Jared Kushner are going to continue to stay focused on this, because it's going to take a lot of work.
My concern, Director, is that Gaza becomes, for Donald Trump, nothing more than a real estate transaction. The way the talk, and you go back and you read the reporting from about Mr. Kushner when he was in Gaza back in early January of 24, talking about the great waterfront property that is Gaza. That's my concern, because the rest of this plan, whatever phase it is, has got to deal with the Palestinian people.
Absolutely. It's long, long overdue. And the United States, many administrations, I think, have not pushed this issue as they should. Donald Trump, unfortunately, was spiking the football today. There was no touchdown. We received the kickoff.
Right.
And there's a long field to go forward. And it's important. Those first steps are critically important. But there's a lot of work to be done. And I'm hoping that Donald Trump is going to use his influence, going to continue to put pressure on Netanyahu, because the Palestinian people deserve self-determination. Right. They deserve statehood. It's been too long, and the crushing blows that they've received as a result of the last 2 years really need to be addressed in order to make sure that the Gazans have a future for them.
Okay, hold on. Michael, to President Bush, we could really use your voice. No, no, we don't need, no. I don't want to hear from Bush. What can he do? What can he do? So y'all, just a minute ago, for y'all who were not here, I asked that you know that Trump was trying to push to resegregation, to reverse it,
As Melissa Murray.
to ban.
Trump administration making segregated facilities no longer banned. Let's put it up for Max. MAGA. After recent change by the Trump administration, the federal government no longer explicitly prohibits contractors from having segregated restaurants, waiting room, and drinking fountains. I will explain. The segregation clause is one of several identified in a public memo issued by the General Services Administration, GSA, last month.
Did y'all know
affecting
this?
all civil federal agencies. The memo explains that it is making changes prompted by President Trump's executive order on diversity.
Y'all remember
Equity,
when
and
I told, I made mention to we the people of color that making America great again did not include us. I tried to tell y'all. Do y'all remember when I told y'all that? That making America great again did not include black people. And I don't care how wealthy you think you are. I don't care how I like his policies. Listen, I don't care how much money you make and you think that you are in his tax brackets and breaks and cuts and all of that will be beneficial to you. Making America great again does not include you. Well, unless you are going to go out into the field and help the farmers. Unless you are going to replace the jobs from the immigrants that, abandon their job, which is hurting the farmers and some of the not assemblies, what is it called? Where they make the food, processing and all of that type of stuff. Segregation facilities are no longer. So that means, so when people tell you you can't eat there, listen. We already know he's already was trying to be able to work out a deal to be able to send people to Africa, right? Right? I need for y'all to listen with your good ear. You know, uh, Abraham had to tell him no. But some of the places, I think Ghana, Zimbabwe, you know, them bad places, may have accepted the offer. But listen, when one of us pissed him off late in the midnight hour, they're gonna be on that military liner on your way back to your motherland. I hope y'all understand that was the behind, maybe not up front, but definitely behind the scenes. That was the agenda when they were putting together the Making America Great Again, to send them back where we stole them from. Because that's where their lineage started from. I do hope y'all know that. So to see this today, I said, okay, here we go. Okay, here we go. Be not deceived. Hi, Sister Belinda. Making America Great Again. I don't care who you think you are, how much you really like Trump. I understand. I agree with him. He okay, let's listen.
Inclusion, which repealed an executive order signed by President Lyndon B. Johnson in 1965 regarding federal contractors and non-discrimination.
What's bigger than Trump? He the one that's, it may, listen, it may be bigger than Trump, Scotty D, but they know he fool enough to do it. He fool enough to pull the switch. He fool enough to put it out there. But now, I mean, I don't know how long it's going to take them to get it. I did see earlier today, I made a thumbnail. I was going to come in talking about it, that, but I saw it happen a couple of weeks ago. I still may touch bases on it because they had a reclaiming the democracy, and they were trying to put the oversight committee had approved with his pardon power abuse, where he won't be able to pardon people for testimony. JH15. I don't know what JH15 is. I don't know what that is. I'm not surprised. I mean, I'm not surprised. I am a little, but I'm really not. You know, I tried to tell people, Sister Belinda, a while ago, even the ones who like him, he don't like you. And I don't care. Jade, I don't know who that is. Jade Helm. I'll research it. We were not a factor in the Making America Great Again, because that's taking it back with still now, that's the truth. Yeah, to stealing property, erasing Black history, put their butts out in that field to replace the farmers that we sent over to send back home. Jay, who? So that's the only. That's the only consideration he had for us. The secret military takeover. Conspiracy theories in Texas. Okay, but our farmers, yeah, but they're hurting, and when they were considering removing the immigrants, taking Social Security, welfare, and Section 8 and all of that, putting tough stipulations on it, and you have to work. See, if you're going to continue to get housing and assistance, and that have to work would be replace the farmers. If you're getting government assistance, then you can go and replace the farmers. You gotta go? Bye, Scotty D. So that was what that was supposed to be. But there are no jobs. The farmers, they need people out in the fields. Whatever the crops are, they don't have workers. That's what he said, that the farmers was hurting. And they thought that those jobs would be filled with once they started trying to take aid away. He thought that the black folks was going to get back out there in the field. Yeah, I believe that too. I think I seen some in Memphis. I think Blackwood News showed some robots and stuff downtown, but I think they were kind of like cops or something. I don't know. But yeah, and I also heard one of those fast foods, they have drones that will deliver that. They're going to take away paper money. Yep, that's his plan if they don't get his ass out. So yeah, so make again for the umpteenth time, people, making America great again is going back to, yeah, well, it's going back to segregation.
The clause in question is the first in the Federal Acquisition Regulation, known as FAR, a huge document used by agencies to write contracts for anyone providing goods or services to the federal government.
Maybe I will do it tomorrow, Scotty D. You gonna come back tomorrow?
And reads, quote, the contractor agrees that it does not and will not maintain or provide for its employees any segregated facilities at any of its establishments, and that it does not and will not permit its employees to perform their services at any location under its control where segregated facilities are maintained. Then it defines segregated facilities as work areas, restaurants, drinking fountains, transportation, housing, and more. And it says you cannot segregate based on race, color, religion, sex, sexual orientation, gender
now remember,
identity,
y'all
or
don't
national
think
origin.
he don't think he has to
Several
follow the
federal agencies,
Constitution.
including the Department of Defense, Commerce, and Homeland Security, have notified staff who oversee federal contracts that they should start instituting these changes. All right, to be clear, all businesses, those that have government contracts and those that do not, still need to follow federal and state laws, including the Civil Rights Act of 1964. They have not successfully repealed that. They're coming after it, which makes segregated facilities illegal. While there are still state and federal laws that outlaw segregation and discrimination that companies need to comply with, the legal experts say this contract, this change to the contract across the federal government is significant. Now, I'm going to read a quote from a law professor. I'm going to respectfully disagree. So,
he was fired just 3 weeks before he was set to retire.
And now he's becoming an industry whistleblower. Kate Jennings has the story.
30. Quote, it's symbolic, but it's incredibly meaningful in symbolism, says Melissa Murray. Melissa Murray is a constitutional professor at New York University.
Remember,
quote,
they were saying that it's based on interpretation.
To comply with federal civil rights laws and to maintain integrated rather than segregated workplaces were all part of the federal government's effort to facilitate the settlement that led to the integration in the 1950s and the 1960s. Quote, the fact that they are now excluding those provisions from the requirements for federal contractors, I think speaks volumes, Murray says. Highly respected professor of law. I do respectfully disagree. Let me tell you why. We're continuing to look at linear approaches to policy and law. For example, if you were adverse to affirmative action and you believe that affirmative action needed to be done away with, and you agreed with the Supreme Court ruling at that time, I wrote an op-ed that explained it is not about affirmative action. It is about the framework of overall diversity, equity, and inclusion. I said that then. I said they are playing chess while we are playing checkers. In checkers, you use power to gain position. In chess, you use position to gain power. So they were utilizing that one element in order to take down the entire diversity, equity, and inclusion dynamic in the United States of America. So they then went after contracts. They went after scholarships. They went after nonprofits that exclusively served a particular demographic because that demographic was underserved. And now they have freedom to go after it all. But so many thought that affirmative action was just going to be the affirmative action.
Oh yeah, when they started with the DEI, you remember Charlie Kirk? He talked about that. Well, how do I know that the pilot is trained and just not hired? Yeah, so DEI, the civil rights. He talked about the civil rights. The Martin Luther King, the women voting. Y'all remember all of that? They was setting it up. Yeah. Yeah. They were taking away the privilege. Now, why he hell bent on black people, I don't know. But I need for y'all to understand that's where he heading. And he don't care nothing about the Constitution and laws that are in place. Also, he done already gave the police permission that once we start acting a fool and resisting, guess what? He done gave them unlimited. Israel, your king and princesses went into captivity with you. So where are they now? What are you talking about? Do you see what we talking about, Percy Valentine? So y'all, so when we start resisting because we think we have rights, but a lot of y'all gonna go with us, Kirk. You can best believe that. They keep trying to tell you things ain't this ain't the same as it used to be. Yeah, y'all gonna try that if you want to, but a lot of y'all gonna go with us. I bet you that. I bet you that. I bet you that. And you know it. That's why y'all scared. Yeah, y'all scared. But whether you know it or not, Mr. Kurt Newton, we were here first. Y'all came from us. We didn't come from you. So you got our milk in you. You understand? You came from us. We didn't come from you. But I know that's why they don't want you to know the truth. That's why they want to remove us from history. But you better do your own research, boy. You came from us. We didn't come from you. Okay? Now, bye-bye. You have a nice day. I'm going to leave you with that. You came from us. We didn't come from you. Bye-bye. Now, I speak facts. I don't speak hatred. He came in on hatred. I speak facts. And you came from us. We did not come from you. That's not hatred. That's facts. Bye-bye. Okay. Anybody else? Thank you, Tammy. I mean, so please don't, they coming in here on that. I mean, you know, oh, Lord.
And white women have benefited from affirmative action more so than any other demographic in the United States of America. Those things were not properly contextualized.
What
now
is
we
going
have
on?
the chipping away of a ban, okay, that's specifically prohibited.
Some of us know history, right? Thank you,
Companies from
Tammy.
having to do business with
And I know you know it didn't come from a hateful place.
As discrimination. Why is that important? Because taxpayers fund those contracts. I really don't need to go a step further than that. Taxpayers fund the contract. So you're telling me that I can pay for my own oppression? That's exactly what the government was doing and willing to continue to do. What this does
No
is
limit.
it
Did you
eliminates
read?
a
Did you
barrier.
read? Did you read my criterias coming in? Did you check to see my guidelines coming in here? I'm not going back and forth with no one, and you're not going to be disrespectful. So if I deem you disrespectful, yes, you have to go. Everyone's not welcome if you don't follow rules. So do I need to remove you? No limit now? I think so. Bye bye.
A barrier that the government would have to overcome if they argue that just because a place has segregation does not mean that place is disqualified from contracting with the government. They have eliminated one of the barriers now. Don't think they're not going after the rest. All right? Okay. Big Wall thoughts, man.
Man, and I think what's important for people to kind of get from this, because it's 2025 and not 1964 anymore, they're not going to do like blacks only water fountains. What they're going to do is like they're going to update it in terms of the people who are being demonized nowadays, whether that be migrants, whether that be trans people, whether that be, whoever. They're going to update it for the people that are currently now demonized within that right-wing ideology and culture. And so that's what I would like people to stay sort of focused on, and don't think that it's going to come in the same forms of, oh, you guys can't use the swimming pool, black people, in Mississippi or Arkansas. They're going to update this thing, and I think that's what's definitely catching my eye, because it's like, wait a minute, like they're not going to go back to saying like, blacks not come here anymore. Like they've gotten a little bit smarter than that, right? Like they know, especially within the discourse, they can't be seen to be doing something straight out of the playbook of Bull Connor, but just trust me, they're going to adjust and do something just as disgusting, quite frankly, and just as discriminatory.
That is correct.
Okay, so good people, I just wanted to bring it to you. That's where he's going with that, or that's where he's trying to go. So be aware, always be 10 steps ahead of it. So because to me at this point it's trying to get a reaction, to get us to react. I mean, I think we've been great. I'm kind of proud of us on some of the little tricks that they thought was going to trigger us that didn't. They thought that we were going to react with the Charlie Kirk, with his aggression. But now that I think about it, some of the stuff that he, fire that he was spewing had that, that separation in it. That's how I knew that he wasn't truly of God. I just knew he wasn't. And I knew that he truly did not know the word, because he mentioned that those separations, women, kind of no respect for women, and that he did not appreciate or believe in empathy. That empathy one was just, it was a deal breaker for me, for any Christian, any believer in Jesus Christ, to say that they don't believe in empathy and they think that it's made up, and it's just an excuse. It's like, wait, what? And you are a believer? No. So, it triggered me. I just don't act a fool. Yeah, that's what it's designed for. And so then that way, once it triggers us, then they will have a right to take us out, because the president has told them they can, and he will pardon them. Okay, you see the trick? Okay, so guess what they are trying to do? Where is it at? It's way down here, I think. Because they had, I think it was a couple of weeks ago. Did I save it? Where they had I don't think it's way down here though. Hold on. reclaim democracy, and I don't think it was way down here. Hold on. So they are trying to put some things in place, but I don't know if it's going to become a law, or I think as they pass the bill through the committee, and it will tap into the I'm trying to find it. Tap into his pardon power, where he won't be able to pardon whoever he wants to, just to that he has incited violence or a war, or someone who is covering a crime for him. I think they're tapping into the Ghislaine Maxwell. I had it, and because that's what tonight was going to be about, until I saw Putin. Is it over here? Oh man, I can't stand when this happens. There you go, right there. Hold on. I'm gonna move it to
Happy Constitution Day. Now I'm pleased to yield to the distinguished, excuse me, okay? Excuse me. We have an important fight on our hands. Let's not fight among ourselves about
sounds
this.
like a great idea.
Because what we have
A
to
little
do is
late,
be
but
firm,
long as it get
clear,
passed. Yeah.
unified, and understand that our democracy is at stake. A champion at restoring our democracy is my colleague from New York, Congressman Dan Goldman.
So they are trying to put some things in place.
Just for future reference,
And listen, I'm happy because they're not making excuses. They're not acting like they don't see what's going on. And I appreciate it because they call it what it is. Y'all please hit the like button, double tap the screen, or use the three dots at the top. They're calling it what it is. They're not making excuses for it. So I think when there's a problem, you call it by name. Don't sugarcoat it. Let a person know we see exactly what you're doing and why you're doing it. So I appreciate what they're trying to do. I just hope that it becomes a law. Let's go.
I'm honored to be here with them to emphasize and reintroduce the Protecting Our Democracy
Valentine,
Act.
what are you trying to say? Will you stop? Will you slow down? Slow down for me. Please. Because I don't know what you're talking about. And I don't know what you're talking about. And you doing too much. Come on.
Came into office, he made it very clear that the office of the presidency was his personal fiefdom. Now, there were some checks from his own party in the first term. Certainly, I, along with working for Senator Schiff and under the incredible leadership of Speaker Pelosi, brought some degree of accountability with the first impeachment. In this second term, though, all bets are off. No holds barred. And the difference is that Donald Trump has completely cowed Congress.
Bye, I'm sorry.
Branch of government that is controlled by
Have
the
a good
Republicans and has completely rolled over. So many of the fundamental norms that we have taken for granted to undergird our democracy are being destroyed one by one by one. And it is a coordinated mass effort. He is going after the media. He is going after every form of accountability, inspectors general, law firms, universities. He is going after arts institutions. This is the authoritarian playbook. And then it gets worse because he's politicizing and weaponizing the Department of Justice as his own personal revenge and retribution arm. That is how our democracy gets degraded. And ultimately, his goal is very clearly to take it over as his own authoritarian rule. This bill is going to lay the foundation for
He has
our
lost his mind.
proposal for how we are going to reclaim our democracy. We have to now codify so many of these norms that everyone expected, that those who come to our shores revere, because it is the freedom and the fairness of our elections and the right to vote and the opportunity for anyone to work hard, play by the rules, and become a super successful person, no matter where you were born or what your background was. This bill is going to prevent the corruption of the presidency that Donald Trump has brought. It will codify a law so that we can enforce the Emoluments Clause as Trump takes billions of dollars from foreign countries. It is going to prevent presidents from abusing the pardon power for their own self-interest, to pardon people who may...
I'm loving it because they're calling it what it is, right? Abusing it. Putting money in his pocket. Let's go.
This bill is going to lay the foundation for our proposal for how we are going to reclaim our democracy. We have to now codify so many of these norms that everyone expected, that those who come to our shores revere, because it is the freedom and the fairness of our elections and the right to vote and the opportunity for anyone to work hard, play by the rules, and become a super successful person, no matter where you were born or what your background was. This bill is going to prevent the corruption of the presidency that Donald Trump has brought. It will codify a law so that we can enforce the Emoluments Clause, Department of Justice, as his own personal revenge and retribution arm. That is how our democracy gets degraded. And ultimately, his goal is very clearly to take it over as his own authoritarian rule. This bill is going to lay the foundation for our proposal for how we are going to reclaim our democracy. We have to now codify so many of these norms that everyone expected, that those who come to our shores revere, because it is the freedom and the fairness of our elections and the right to vote and the opportunity for anyone to work hard, play by the rules, and become a super successful person, no matter where you were born or what your background was.
Amen.
This bill is going to prevent the corruption of the presidency that Donald Trump has brought. It will codify a law so that we can enforce the Emoluments Clause as Trump takes billions of dollars from foreign countries. It is going to prevent presidents from abusing the pardon power for their own self-interest, to pardon people who may have criminal information against them, which Donald Trump has done in the past. It's going to make congressional oversight stronger so that he cannot simply reject and refuse to comply with subpoenas. It is going to limit these so-called emergency powers. It will protect whistleblowers. And it will protect our criminal justice system from being politicized. Because if that happens, we are nothing more than a banana republic. And one by one by one. And it is a coordinated mass effort. He is going after the media. He is going after every form of accountability, inspectors general, law firms, universities. He is going after arts institutions. This is the authoritarian playbook. And then it gets worse because he's politicizing and weaponizing the Department of Justice as his own personal revenge and retribution arm. That is how our democracy gets degraded. And ultimately, his goal is very clearly to take it over as his own authoritarian rule. This bill is going to lay the foundation for our proposal for how we are going to reclaim our democracy. We have to now codify so many of these norms that everyone expected, that those who come to our shores revere, because it is the freedom and the fairness of our elections and the right to vote and the opportunity for anyone to work hard, play by the rules.
And sir, I don't know how you also need to add in there that if there is a war started or going on, when it's time for him to go, he still have to go. He said that there could not, somebody told him there cannot be an election if there is a war. Thank you, Vicky. Mwah. That needs to be put into a bill and made a law. He got to go after 2 years. You know, he's trying to figure out a way to stay. So that's what he's planning to do. Y'all need to come up with something that there is no exceptions. He got to go. Okay? After his term. Okay?
And become a super successful person, no matter where you were born or what your background was.
Whether it's a bill or a bullet. That's why I didn't even say nothing to be rich. I didn't even, no.
Donald Trump has
He got to go.
It will codify a law so that we can enforce the emoluments clause as Trump takes billions of dollars from foreign countries.
Yeah.
It is going to prevent presidents from abusing
I'm so glad that he calling it what it is.
for their own self-interest, to pardon people who may have criminal information against them, which Donald Trump has done.
And also, sir, y'all need to pass a bill that no sitting president new or can come in with multiple felonies. I mean, I don't know what y'all expected. I mean, 34 means that he's a serial something. He's a serial offender. You know, they told, oh boy, what is that called? The no felons. I'm just saying, no pedophilia, all of that. There we go. Yeah, no felonies, no pedophilia. Yeah, all of that. It needs to be in place. And because, you know, with 34, though, that's enhancements. You know, they was trying to tell old boy, but them enhancements like that, he was facing a death. Those are enhancements with 34. That means you're a serial offender. Okay? Y'all need to put these things in place and never, ever, ever make that mistake again.
In the past, it's going to make congressional oversight stronger so that he can proposal for how we are going to reclaim our democracy. We have to now codify so many of these norms that everyone expected, that those who come to our shores revere, because it is the freedom and the fairness of our elections and the right to vote and the opportunity for anyone to work hard, play by the rules, and become a super successful person, no matter where you were born or what your background was. This bill is going to prevent the corruption of the presidency that Donald Trump has brought. It will codify a law so that we can enforce the emoluments clause as Trump takes billions of dollars from foreign countries. It is going to prevent presidents from abusing the pardon power for their own self-interest, to pardon people who may have criminal information against them, which Donald Trump has done in the past. It's going to make congressional oversight stronger so that he cannot simply reject and refuse to comply with subpoenas. It is going to limit these so-called emergency powers. It will protect whistleblowers. And it will protect our criminal justice system from being politicized. Because if that happens, we are nothing more than a banana republic. And that is exactly what, as the Speaker Emeritus said, we travel around the world to tell other countries, do not do that. Do not prosecute your political enemies.
That's crazy.
That is the most anti-democratic thing that you can do. And so I am proud to be here with such incredible colleagues to reintroduce legislation that we will pass when we take back the presidency in 2028. And it is going to be the foundation of restoring our democracy. I'm now pleased to introduce my colleague, Summer Lee.
Thank you. Good morning. I am, I don't want to say encouraged to be here, but I'm encouraged that we're taking the steps, because when I say that this is the most important issue that we're facing, if you oftentimes say that if you care about democracy and democracy reform, then money and politics is the most important issue to you. If you care about any of the things that we've talked about, if we've seen the rising tide of authoritarianism, if we've seen corruption and abuse, money and politics needs to be at the roots of what we're doing. So I want to thank Today Not Above the Law Coalition for convening us. I stand here today because our democracy is in crisis. We are seeing bought out politicians trying to take away our rights. We see threats from election deniers because it didn't go their way. And we see the most powerful threat of all, the flood of corporate money that poisons every single part of our politics. I know we all remember Citizens United. We remember when the Supreme Court opened the floodgates of millions and millions of dollars into our electoral system. It quite literally put our politics up for sale to the highest bidder. And every single election since this, not just Donald Trump, not just the White House, every single election since, we have watched the price tag grow every year, a brand new record, billions of dollars pouring into races, the voices of regular people drowned out by the weight of special interests. And that money poisons everything it touches. It poisons our fight for health care because Big Pharma wants to profit before care of patients. It poisons our fight for affordable child care because healthcare monopolies want to cut costs by making families work harder and longer. It poisons our fight for clean air and clean water as we know that worsens every day as oil companies are profiting while our climate crisis worsens every single day. It poisons our fight for gun safety because the gun lobby has endless cash to block even the most basic protections while children go to school with book bags and leave in body bags. And the list goes on and on. Our fight for housing and for fair wages and for reproductive justice. There is not one corner of our lives untouched by the grip of money and politics. And that's why we're here today, to overturn Citizens United with the Citizens Over Corporations Amendment, because corporations are not people. In a democracy, power should always belong to real, actual people. I'll be the first to tell you, as someone who was attacked by millions and millions of dollars to try to keep me out of Congress, it's not going to be easy. But we have to do this. We have to try. We have to get this money out of our policy so we actually have a representative democracy. This is about restoring balance and building a government that serves all of us, not just the wealthy few, a government that people from all walks of life can trust in. So let's imagine what it would look like if the voices of people rise above corporate money, when teachers and nurses and workers set the agenda, when the families and young people and elders are heard just as loudly as somebody's CEO, when our government finally listens to the people. That is the democracy we deserve, and that's the one we're going to build together. So today, I say, we are not powerless. You are not voiceless. We will not give up. And with this amendment and with this movement around us, we are going to make sure that our democracies gets back into the hands of people, or let's call it what it really is, that we have a democracy at the end of the day to fight for in the first place. So I thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to pass the mic to Robert Reisman, co-president of Public Citizen.
Okay, I'm gonna move on now. There's other stuff we gotta see. Hold on. Hold on. That's good to know, huh? Especially since we know that he's trying to resurface segregation in restaurants and stuff. He's, yeah, since we know that that's what he's doing. Yeah, Lord. Let there be peace. Dang, it was feeling good for a minute. Well, yeah, I got so much, and the nights are not getting up. I could go back because I didn't listen past that, so I don't know what the other ones are gonna say. Y'all want to listen? It was surely good stuff. Hold on, where was it? Where is it? Well, I guess we need to know, huh? After hearing that opening up resegregation, let me go back.
He is going after every form of accountability.
It established that the president
The day to fight for in the first place. So I thank you so much for being here, and I'm going to pass the mic to Robert
There you go,
Whiteman,
Tammy.
Co-President of Public Citizen.
Y'all please get the likes up. Just double tap the face of your
on
screen.
this Constitution Day, we have to acknowledge this unfortunate
Oh, I did
reality.
listen more. I did.
This president is the most constitutionally hostile president in American history. He's the most constitutional shredding president in American history. Broadly, we could say the Constitution did establish three large concepts. It decentralized power with the separation of powers. It established that the president is not above the law, and in fact has an affirmative duty to take care that the laws are faithfully executed. And with the Bill of Rights, it gave us, we the people, individual and collective rights against the government. This president has stomped on all three of those fundamental pillars of our Constitution and our democracy. But the Constitution is not just a document, it is a set of values. It lives not because it's printed, but because we the people give it meaning. So the Constitution is alive today on Constitution Day because millions of people are protesting against the unconstitutional actions of this president. The Constitution is alive today because thousands of Americans are standing in solidarity and giving support to immigrants who are being subjected to state-sponsored kidnappings. The Constitution is alive today because governors are refusing the unconstitutional efforts of this president to deploy the National Guard in their states. The Constitution is alive today because it's being defended by organizations that are suing this lawless and unconstitutional administration. The Constitution is being given life and breath and hope by members of Congress who are introducing legislation to revitalize our constitutional
Be rich, it
principles,
sure is.
and who will refuse to
666.
go along with the president who
On
declines
purpose.
to spend congressionally appropriated money, the core function of Congress, the power of the purse. They are going to say, you will not follow what we require you to do through appropriations, that we're not going to go along with your government. The Constitution is alive today because 800 cities and towns have passed resolutions calling for an amendment to overturn Citizens United and make sure that we have a government of we the people, not we the corporation.
Ain't even
And
trying to
the
hide
Constitution is
it.
alive today on Constitution Day because across America, attorneys in dozens of cities are retaking their oath. Veterans across the nation are reclaiming and retaking their oath. 500 teachers in every state in the nation have pledged to today teach the Constitution, not just by waving it around, but by teaching their students to think critically about it and how it should apply and how it must apply in these unconstitutional times. The Constitution is alive and living because of what we, the people, do. It's those veterans, it's those lawyers, it's those teachers, it's these members of Congress, it's those organizations, it's the millions of Americans who refuse to be silenced by a president and an attorney general who seek to sow fear and intimidation against those who disagree with them politically. That is why the Constitution is alive, and those are the people who are the great American patriots of this day. And with that, let me introduce my great friend Praveen Fernandez, the Vice President of the Constitution Accountability Center.
Constitution Day commemorates the day in 1787 when the delegates to the Constitutional Convention gathered in Philadelphia to sign what would become the original articles of our national charter. Those delegates brought to their task a keen awareness that this nation had just recently broken away from the tyranny of monarchy. The framers ensured that our Constitution will be one that rejected
what's happening on the
absolute
18th?
power.
What I missed?
It established 3 branches of government, each one designed to serve as a check and balance against the power of the other. It also embedded an oath of office in the Constitution that requires the president to promise to preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution. And this promise is so important that elsewhere in the Constitution, there's a requirement that other officials too take an oath to support the Constitution. But here's the thing. You cannot preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution while ignoring what it says. You cannot preserve the Constitution's citizenship clause if you disregard its clear guarantee of birthright citizenship. You cannot protect the Constitution's due process clause, whose text says it applies to all persons, if you attempt to limit the way it applies to non-citizens. You cannot defend the Constitution's grant of the power of the purse to Congress if you ignore congressional appropriations decisions. And you cannot support the Constitution's establishment of an independent judiciary if you question whether you need to obey court orders or threaten to impeach federal judges just because you disagree with their rulings. And sadly, these are just a few of the examples. The point is, honoring the Constitution cannot be performative. Fidelity to the Constitution must be meaningful. Thankfully, protecting the Constitution and ensuring constitutional accountability is not just a job for our nation's officials, despite the fact that I'm surrounded by congressional champions. It is a responsibility shared by all Americans. And that brings us to today. When we celebrate Constitution Day in 2025, we celebrate not only the document that was signed centuries ago, but the whole Constitution, which has been amended numerous times by we the people, making our nation incrementally freer, fairer, and more inclusive. We the people have always played a critical role in shaping our Constitution and in ensuring constitutional accountability. That role is just as important today. And that responsibility should unite all of us, irrespective of zip code or political party. We must all preserve, protect, and defend the Constitution as if our future depends upon it. Because it does.
Because it does. Because it does.
Thank you. And I think we're going to take questions now. If you could please just state your name and outlet.
Senator Schiff, Perspective News. First off, you've introduced the Protecting Our Democracy Act, as you mentioned before, but have been unable to garner the necessary bipartisan support for this legislation, with Republicans in Congress showing no real sign of standing up to the president. Why do you think this legislation has any chance of happening now?
Well, first of all, I think it's really important that we tell the country not just what we're against in terms of all the malpractice and malfeasance of the administration, but what we're for. What do we stand for? And even though we're not going to have the votes at the moment to ban dark money to pass a constitutional amendment, and the Republicans are going to, I think, uniformly oppose any kind of meaningful check on this president, We need to show the country this is what we're fighting for. And when power is returned to the Democrats, this is what we will make law. So, yes, the hurdles right now with a Republican Party completely in the thrall of Donald Trump, unwilling to oppose even the most incompetent and dangerous of nominees, the lawless withholding of funds, the horrendous cuts to services, and the massive cut to everyone's health care.
Just horrible.
They may not be willing to stand up to this president. We are, but more than that, we want to make sure that any future administration cannot trample the Constitution the way this one is, and invite my other colleagues to comment if they would like as well. Other questions?
I have a second question for you.
Let me go to others with the first question, if I could. Anyone? All right, second question.
I continue on that. The distinguished senator began his remarks earlier by talking about faith. Faith in the American people. The more people know about the opportunity that this legislation presents, owning the ground, outside mobilization means more than our inside maneuvering on a subject like this. So when he talks about faith in the future, faith in the Constitution, faith in our country, it's about faith in the American people. Faith gives us, the faith in the goodness of the American people gives us hope that we can accomplish almost anything. This is absolutely essential. The Disclose Act is the only opportunity the court gave us
They kicked it out.
what they did in Citizens United so disgracefully. And we still haven't been able
When you
to
say
get a
gutted,
Republican vote on the Disclose Act in the Senate. But that may change now that we have another
did they cut it, or
legislation and this
did they throw out?
of Adam Schiff? But
Ooh,
understand,
break that. I don't. That cut. That gutted can be both ways.
Never happened in Congress without the people participating in that. We must own the ground.
It was thrown
on
out.
this issue. And if I just want to say one thing, because I have to go to a hearing. Here's the thing. I'm from Baltimore, where the national anthem was written, and people cheer at the game when we get to the end. When I start cheering, is when it says, "Proof through the night that our flag was still there." Well, we are in the night of it right now, and we have to prove through the night that our American flag is still there as we pledge every day with liberty and justice for all. The Times have found us. Thank the senator for his leadership.
Sure. I was an assistant U.S. attorney for almost 6 years. Worked extensively with the FBI and have as a legislator ever since. They have been the premier law enforcement agency in the country and the world because they've been consummately professional and nonpartisan. It is a terrible tragedy, I think, for the men and women of the Bureau to have such poor leadership that is replacing expertise with incompetence. That is replacing nonpartisanship with the most rabid partisanship. And this is not unrelated to why we're here today. You can't have a vibrant democracy without the rule of law. And you can't have a rule of law if you have a weaponized Federal Bureau of Investigation and Justice Department. And sadly, that's what we have. And I think that was on ample display yesterday. Let's go to your question, and we'll give you the last question.
Follow-up to that, Cash Patel yesterday said that there was no credible evidence that Jeffrey Epstein trafficked any women other than to himself. What's your reaction to that?
Well, of course, that was quite a startling claim, particularly coming from someone who has promoted the belief that Epstein had a vast client list of powerful people. So it was completely contradictory of everything he said in the past. More than that, I asked him that when Ghislaine Maxwell identified that there were cabinet members very close to Jeffrey Epstein, or had a relationship with Jeffrey Epstein, but Todd Blanche refused to ask who they were and just ignored her comments. Who were those cabinet
Not sure
members?
how many
Not
people
surprisingly,
have
he
been kicked
refused to
off.
answer.
It
And this
has
is,
been
again, the
90
kind of
days
incompetence
since
we're
payment
seeing.
on Section 8
Incompetence is probably the
have
most
been
polite thing I
paid.
can describe, but it certainly looks like a cover-up. But let's get back to the topic at hand if we could. Is this a question on the topic at hand? Well, I like to keep it on topic if we can. I'm happy to make myself available afterwards. Did you have a last question on topic? Oh, it is. Any other questions on topic? Any of my colleagues want to make any concluding remarks? Do you want to close it out?
Sure.
Thank you.
Well, I want to thank you, Senator Schiff. I mean, I think the two things that you're doing today, introducing the Protect Our Democracy Act to deal with the authoritarian abuses on the one hand, and introducing the amendment to overturn Citizens United, and the problem that's eating at the foundation of our democracy of big money and corporations dominating, thanks to the Supreme Court, our elections. It's the two pieces what we have to do going forward to preserve our democracy. And the last thing I'll say, and Praveen can jump in if you have an additional word, is on this day, lots of people are going to be waving their little constitution as a totem, But what matters is not how many little totems you can wave around or how many flags you put behind you, but whether you live and carry out and defend the values of the Constitution. And as Speaker Emerita Pelosi was saying, the people doing that now are the people across the country protesting this administration and trying to hold it to account. And that's where the hope is on this Constitution Day. It's going to build the support over time to get both components of this, protecting our Democracy Act, the amendment to overturn Citizens United, and other democracy reforms enacted into law, enacted as part of the Constitution in the not distant future.
Thank you, everyone.
So now, Section 8, persons are getting evicted. Oh, okay. Oh, wow. Mm-mm-mm. I mean, but I thought that they had to maintain a job. I didn't know that they was just kicking everybody off. I thought that let's get to, oh boy.
Do not pay your next car insurance bill. Repeat, do not pay your bill yet. So I found this website and look at the...
As you know, in a few days the NATO summit will take place, and one of the topics they will discuss is that Europe is thinking about rearmament and plans to spend more on military spending. My question is very direct.
Oh, it won't let me pull it back.
If you have the opportunity to speak to the members of this agency, what would you say to them?
Hey, Mrs. Tom.
What is your message? What is the task? Do you consider such a NATO rearmament a threat to Russia?
He has issued
We do not consider any
a
NATO
threat.
rearmament a threat to the Russian Federation because we are self-sufficient in terms of ensuring our security, and we are constantly improving our armed forces and our defensive capabilities. Whatever NATO does, of course, It creates a certain threat, but we are
With no
coping with all
jobs, no
these threats
benefit.
that will arise.
Believe it or
There is
not,
no
some
doubt
people
about
are
that.
actually disabled and need Section
In
8
this sense,
to keep a
any
roof over their
rearmament
head.
and an increase in NATO budget by up to 5% from the GDP
He's
do
trying
not
to
make
do
any
the
sense.
elimination to get back to
This is the first
segregation.
point. The second point. You know, for centuries, unfortunately, this is how I can fully affirm this. For centuries in the West, all the time, not all the time, but from time to time, there has always been a question of a threat from Russia. It was so convenient for the Western elites to build their own internal policy, because on the basis of a possible threat from the East, it was always possible to extort money from taxpayers and to explain one's own economic mistakes with a threat from the East. If you look at historical books, we will come to the conclusion that from time to time, this issue has always been raised. It is clear that today's crisis in relations between Russia and Western Europe began in 2014. But the problem is not that Russia annexed Crimea, but that Western countries contributed to the coup d'etat in Ukraine. You know, we have always heard that it is necessary to live by the rules. By
Oh
what
yeah, he
rules?
mad.
But what kind of rule is it?
He don't put a
When
threat
three
to
states,
BB,
France, Germany, and
and
Poland,
Trump.
came to Kiev and, as guarantors, signed a paper on the agreements between the opposition and the authorities headed by President Yanukovych. 3 states signed it, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs. A colleague from the Federal Republic of Germany is looking at me. Mr. Steinmeier was then the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Can be found in general. As you know, at one time, we intercepted a project in Iran, which was carried out by German companies and completed the Bucha nuclear power plant. The German companies left, and the Iranians asked us to continue. This was difficult, because what the German specialists were doing was their design, and Rosatom had to make a lot of effort to adapt it all to the Russian design. Nevertheless, we did it, and this unit is working, and it is working successfully. We have signed a contract for the construction of 2 more units. The work is underway, and our specialists are on site. This is more than 200 people. And we have agreed with the Israeli leadership that their safety will be ensured. In general, it seems to me that, given Iran's plans to continue the use and development of nuclear energy, including in agriculture, medicine, and so on, but this is not nuclear energy. And in nuclear energy, we could, together with Iran, why do I think so? Because the level of trust between our countries is quite high. And we have a very good relationship with Iran. We could continue this work and ensure their interests in this area. I will not go into details now, there are many of them, and we discussed all these details with the Israeli side and with the American side, and we also sent certain signals to our Iranian friends. In general, we can ensure Iran's interests in the field of nuclear energy. At the same time, we can take care of Israel's safety. In my opinion, there are such options. I repeat, we have offered them to our partners, the United States, Israel, and Iran. We are not imposing anything on anyone. We are just talking about how we see a possible way out of the situation. But the decision, of course, lies with the political leadership of all these countries, primarily Iran and Israel.
First of all, I would like to join my colleagues in expressing my gratitude for having the opportunity to be here, where you can directly listen to our colleagues from the agency and thank TASS for hosting us. As you know, in a few days, the NATO summit will take place, and one of the topics they will discuss is that Europe is thinking about rearmament and plans to spend more on military spending. My question is very direct. If you have the opportunity to speak to the members of this agency, what would you say to them? What is your message? What is the task? Do you consider such a NATO rearmament a threat to Russia?
We do not consider any NATO rearmament a threat to the Russian Federation, because we are self-sufficient in terms of ensuring our security, and we are constantly improving our armed forces and our defensive capabilities. Whatever NATO does, of course, it creates a certain threat, but we are coping with all these threats that will arise. There is no doubt about that. In this sense, any rearmament and an increase in NATO budget by up to 5% from the GDP do not make any sense. This is the first point. The second point. You know, for centuries, unfortunately, this is how I can fully affirm this, for centuries in the West, all the time, not all the time, but from time to time, there has always been a question of a threat from Russia. It was so convenient for the Western elites to build their own internal policy, because on the basis of a possible threat from the East, it was always possible to extort money from taxpayers and to explain one's own economic mistakes with a threat from the East. If you look at historical books, we will come to the conclusion that from time to time, this issue has always been raised. It is clear that today's crisis in relations between Russia and Western Europe began in 2014. But the problem is not that Russia annexed Crimea, but that Western countries contributed to the coup d'etat in Ukraine. You know, we have always heard that it is necessary to live by the rules. By what rules? But what kind of rule is it when three states, France, Germany, and Poland, came to Kiev and, as guarantors, signed a paper on the agreements between the opposition and the authorities headed by President Yanukovych? Three states signed it, including the Minister of Foreign Affairs. A colleague from the Federal Republic of Germany is looking at me. Mr. Steinmeier was then the Minister of Foreign Affairs. Can be found in general. As you know, at one time, we intercepted a project in Iran, which was carried out by German companies and completed the Bucha nuclear power plant. The German companies left, and the Iranians asked us to continue.
And y'all know what? It's funny that he would put
this was
this
difficult
out today.
Because what the German specialists were
It's
doing
funny that he would put
was
this out
their
today.
design, and Rosatom had to make a lot of
Yeah,
effort
I need
to
20
adapt it
likes,
all
please.
to the Russian design. Nevertheless, we did it, and this unit is working, and it is working successfully. We have signed a contract for the construction of 2 more units. The work is underway, and our specialists are on site. This is more than 200 people. And we have agreed with the Israeli leadership that their safety will be ensured. In general, it seems to me that given Iran's plans to continue the use and development of nuclear energy, including in agriculture, medicine, and so on, but this is not nuclear energy. And in nuclear energy, we could, together with Iran, why do I think so? Because the level of trust between our countries is quite high. And we have a very good relationship with Iran. We could continue this work and ensure their interests in this area.
I thought he was at war with Iran. I'm confused. Oh, no. He's with Iran. Okay. He against Israel.
Arm yourself and avoid unwanted calls. Vin Verify's reverse phone search is a powerful tool.
At the same time, we can take care of Israel's safety. In my opinion, there are such options. I repeat, we have offered them to our partners, the United States, Israel, and Iran. We are not imposing anything on anyone. We are just talking about how we see a possible way out of the situation. But the decision, of course, lies with the political leadership of all these countries, primarily Iran and Israel.
First of all, I would like to join my colleagues in expressing my gratitude for having the opportunity to be here, where you can directly listen to our colleagues from the agency and thank TAS for hosting us.
But it all started with...
As you know, in a few days the NATO summit will take place, and one of the topics they will discuss is that Europe is thinking...
Okay, so it's a little tricky because the Israel that's in the Bible is not this Israel with Bibi Numi. It's not the same. They have hijacked. And that's not the same Israel. So, I mean, I know what everybody is saying, but this Israel was created in 1948. And it has nothing to do. No, it's not. No. See, that's what we are led to believe. That's how they tricked us. That's what they played off of. I mean, that's why I constantly bring the people from Jerusalem. I get the videos and play it. Oh, that's what I meant. Something's not right. Yes, they're not. They hijacked it. They're not even a real, I don't know if I could say Jews, but they say it. So no, they're not. He's from Poland. That's why I can say his name, but I don't like to, because that ain't, he just picked a name. His last name is Milanowski or something like that. Benjamin Milanowski. He's Poland. Yeah, just like Trump last name is not Trump. It's Grumped. You know. So no. And then that's why I don't know if he was here. Oh, I'm 10%. When he was saying we need the Christians to vote. That's also why, to me, they used Charlie. And once Charlie started realizing that they are Zionists and that they were, hold on, I need to put this, hold on, y'all. That they are Zionists, which are non-believers, atheists. They don't believe nothing about Jesus Christ. That's why Trump was telling yesterday he don't think there ain't nothing he can do to make it into heaven. God ain't trying to see him, and I guess he ain't trying to repent. So no, that is not the one in the Bible. It was created by the Rothschilds in 1948, and they are Zionists. Okay, so I wish people would get off of, not you, I'm just saying, I see a lot of people who say it's spiritual. No, it's not. It is not. They have hijacked it. And they are, it's genocide. I'm just going to say that. But they have an issue with females and kids. And I was just thinking about on Trump's deposition when he lost that case about forcing himself on that lady. And now that we know his agenda and his mindset with this making America great again, and when they asked him about aping that lady, he said she loved it. Now, before he went there, he talked about how they've been, that practice has been in place for millions of years. Men taking from women, a woman's body. That ain't nothing new. He feels entitled. So now that I think about, he's okay with the genocide and, stealing land, Christopher Columbus, and he was a pedo, they say, and a trafficker, a triple X trafficker, same thing. It's a pattern. Just didn't realize it, but there's a pattern. So when he's talking about that making America great again with the good old boys, yeah. But he said they've been taking coochie for millions and millions of years.
Because the level of trust between our countries is quite high, and we have a very good relationship with Iran, we could continue this work and ensure their interests in this area.
Y'all give me 7 more likes and I can move on to Diddy.
There are many of them.
Unless y'all want me to stay here for a little bit more.
With the Israeli side and with the American side.
Oh.
And we also sent certain signals to our Iranian friends. In general, we can ensure Iran's interests in the field of nuclear energy.
Yeah, cause see,
at the same
Putin
time,
said if you couldn't stop the war, whatever you promised them, you done promised to us, and yeah, I ain't trying to hear it. All y'all can kick rocks. Did you hit the like button, Philomena? Hello? Hello? Y'all so spoiled. I don't believe Israel will honor I don't think so either. Because how they putting it, he's not winning on the deal. So I don't know what's that about. Expose the U.S.-Israel plot against Iran. So they have a plot. Let me see. Did Trump, Caesar, Okay, hold on. Now Trump wants to arrest the Chicago mayor. That man is crazy. Somebody gonna catch him. Somebody gonna catch him slipping. Thank you. Let's get to Diddy. Now, which one I'm gonna start with? It's a lot going on. I'm gonna start with, oh boy. I'm gonna start with this one. Clive Davis. Let's hear what this one says. This was yesterday.
Abandoned. That is the word, guys. Well, it looks like more people who perhaps were clinging on to him,
Let
or
me shut
Diddy
up
was
before
going
I
to cling on
lose
to
my
them,
bit.
have also now ghosted him as well.
My
And one of them
benefit.
is his sugar daddy, known as Clive Davis. Hey guys, it's Murali, daily and consistent content. Let's get straight
Hey,
into
Murad.
this video.
Let me change
I know
the
that
picture.
I have
Let me
microphone
see.
issues. I will be getting this fixed, guys, and also I still have this sinus headache. It's been 3 days, and it's just bothering me. Hopefully, it goes away in the next couple of days. So that's why maybe my energy might be a bit low in these videos. I have a current headache.
Just do this
But anyways, Clive Davis, guys, has completely abandoned.
He not taking his
Multiple
calls,
sources
y'all.
are reporting that he has ghosted the music star following his recent conviction. Max's sources state that although they once had close personal and business connections with Diddy, Clive and other previous associates provided
said that they
statements
used
of
to
support
date.
for his sentencing. Sorry, none of these previous associates, including Clive, provided statements of support. And that's exactly what Diddy wanted.
Oh,
These are people who
wow.
built careers alongside him. One insider reportedly said, but when it mattered most, they all completely disappeared. This is the ultimate Hollywood snub of Clive Davis abandoning Diddy. In a profession where open support often business connections with Diddy, Clive and other previous associates provided statements of support for his sentencing. Sorry, none of these previous associates, including Clive, provided statements of support. And that's exactly what Diddy wanted. These are people who built careers alongside him. One insider reportedly said, but when it mattered most, they all completely disappeared. This is the ultimate Hollywood snub of Clive Davis abandoning Diddy. In a profession where open support often holds great importance, keeping quiet sends a very strong signal, and that's exactly what Clive Davis did. Clive Davis himself, whom many saw as one of Diddy's advisors, has completely stepped away. The piece even took a playful jab, captioning a picture of Davis with the line, "It's Mr. Davis to you now." Of course, there's a video, of somebody asking Clive last year, about what he thinks about Diddy, and he acted like he couldn't even remember Diddy. So he already was setting in this, the narrative, the storyline, or I don't even know who this man is. He might have got on all fours for me. He might have given me the Glock 5000 for that, record label. He might have done things for me that I obviously needed, but now I'm gonna forget who he is, and then when his conviction comes, and if he gets 4 to 5 years, then we're gonna be quiet. Because when this man was announced as not guilty for RICO, you had some celebrities speaking up in support of him. A lot of people were waiting for this conviction, but for the fact that he was guilty, and now for the fact that he was sentenced as of last week, multiple people have completely abandoned this man. The truth is beginning to hit Diddy, and the music mogul who previously boasted about his luxurious lifestyle, and he's been found guilty and given a jail term of 4 years. He's in a complete disbelief. He's unable to grasp the sudden dramatic collapse of his life. His staff was so confident with him genuinely thinking he'd get out with time served. His lawyers promised this, that he confidently arranged a speaking appearance for the week following his court in Miami, as we all know. OJ's lawyer has come out to say that Diddy has made the biggest mistake by pretending that he was going to get out, or believing that he was going to get out in Miami. This was the biggest mistake that he could have done, because it makes him look pompous and confident, and does not make him look remorseful or taking accountability for his actions. This, I believe, is why Arun put more years on the sentence. But Clive Davis, the sugar daddy, has gone.
More years.
A lot of people are curious about the status of P. Diddy. P. Diddy.
I didn't know he was a little fat man.
What do you make of that situation? No comment from Clive Davis.
Clive Davis is gone. The sugar daddy that Diddy desperately needed. The man that made Diddy. Of course, Diddy would turn to this man when he's in trouble. Of course, he's wondering, is Clive going to help, either bail me out, or in some way, make sure I can even get a bail. Of course, Clive Davis was
Diddy
the daddy for Sean Combs. He probably is thinking about him in jail. The good times that they had. The times when he was on, the Glock 5000, like all of this. And now Clive has completely ghosted him and has acted like he doesn't even know who this man is. And after the conviction, the friendship is dead, gone, long, and buried. Because
That,
man is a liability to Clive, and Clive will put his money before anybody else. If you look at the history of Clive's life and how many times that even he got fired and then he had to come back and etc., all he does is focuses on the money situation. And Diddy is not a valuable asset to this man anymore. Multiple people feel the same way, which is why he doesn't have any of his friends. But Clive specifically is one person that I want to look at, because this was the man who helped create Diddy. Give me sexual favors and I'll give
that
you
was
that
a
record
clone.
label is exactly what I believe happened between them. And Diddy was happy to do so, because
You
that
said
man will
what?
do anything for money. The man is, you know, doesn't have an ounce. Specifically is one person that I want to look at, because this was the man who helped create Diddy. Give me sexual favors and I'll give you that record label is exactly what I believe happened between them. And Diddy was happy to do so, because that man will do anything for money. The man is,
Yeah, he gave him like 50
doesn't have an
mil or
ounce
something.
of, you know, integrity or credibility to his name. He never really has. But his sugar daddy has left the building permanently. I don't know you, multiple sources are saying. I don't know who this man is. The friendship was never there. Ghosted to a whole new level.
It's just a fantasy.
When he was caught violating BOP rules, texting his children on these phones, of course he was texting his daddy. Daddy Clive.
On P. Diddy. Mr. Davis, you're a major influence on the career of P. Diddy. Have you spoken to him since the federal raid?
Shoe fly, don't bother me.
Have you spoken to Sean Combs?
Shoe fly. Diddy, boyfriend, sugar daddy, won't take his calls.
Mr. Davis?
Next caller. Sad times, I guess. Reports are also going on about how Jennifer Lopez is terrified in regards of Diddy's revenge, and I don't think that she has anything to worry about as of right now. I think she's a great actress, not singer, but a great actress. But like she's the queen of, not queen, but like, you know, she definitely is the princess of
I think
rom-com.
I liked her in the Manhattan movie. But I really liked her in Enough. Do y'all remember Enough? Yeah, that movie may have been about Diddy. Wasn't he abusive back then too? Yeah, I don't know if she's a great actress, but I did like Enough, and I did like that Made in Manhattan. Yeah.
I think she's had very successful movies back in the day, but I don't think she needs to be worried about Diddy. The man is behind jail. He's not going to be mentioning anything about you, but reports are saying that she's still terrified and living in fear over retribution against those who crossed him, and that she is going to be one of them. I just feel like Diddy would have...
How did she cross him? Did she write a letter to the judge? How did she cross him? I haven't heard anything about her crossing him.
That by now, and Diddy isn't going to be in a position to rat out on people or celebrity names, because he doesn't want to prolong his sentence. He doesn't want to upset the higher ups. So I don't think he will bring in anybody else and cause a huge ruckus. I just don't see him doing that. So these reports of her being terrified, either I don't believe, or maybe she's just, you know, paranoid.
Yeah.
Which, you know, makes sense. I can understand why she would be paranoid about the whole Diddy saga, because her name would have been brought up here and there, but it hasn't really been brought up. She wasn't subpoenaed. The sentencing is done. He's been convicted. You don't need to worry about any of this anymore. Now, I touched on it yesterday, but Russell Simmons, guys, is facing more essay allegations, along with a producer called Brett Ratner, where multiple actresses and people behind the scenes, 5-6 women, have come forward with statements, and one of them was including Russell Simmons. Producer
Russ, are you still over in Valley or Belize? Where you at?
5-6 women have come forward with statements, and one of them was including Russell Simmons, about how he basically SA'd a woman. So this man is still facing allegations himself while he's running off to Bali. The man also does come to and fro to America, by the way. All of it is civil, I believe, so a criminal trial, or he needs to be in prison or anything like that. For those who are saying that he doesn't come to America, he does. He doesn't just live here. But, you know, more essay allegations are facing this man. Absolutely believe all of them. Russell Simmons, guys, is a
what happened
monster.
to
That man
L.A.
is a
Reid? I
monster
thought his
behind
was
the
supposed
scenes.
to start in
He
August.
can fault everybody else with this kumbaya, I've gone to Bali, I meditate BS. But behind all of that is that devil monster that sits behind, that doesn't want to be remorseful or accountable for his own actions, which is why there are still more essay allegations coming out against him. And this other person called Brett Ratner. There's a lot of music directors, movie directors who are always accused of essaying because they are in
Diddy's
such a position
DJ
of power.
too.
With power comes responsibility that people like to violate. And in this instance, it's, if you want the part, you need to do X, Y, Z for me. They get carried away, power trip, ego, much like Diddy. But everything that Diddy is doing to everybody else is what was done to him. Make no mistake, these high executives washed that man up left, right, and center. They were in that man, out that man, in every single hole, living their best life using Diddy in the way that they wanted, humiliating him.
They were. Shut up. Now you talking crazy. They didn't use him. He was just a part of the party. He was a part of the party. He was the party. Hey, we like to party. Ain't that the song? Yeah. And they wasn't using him. We ain't gonna lie now. You ain't gotta lock it. He had something with J-Lo. Bad. New Diddy going broke and Big Silver. Here go the other one. Then I'm gonna go to the other guy.
Because there's been so many lawsuits about where Diddy and Biggie's son were both accused of setting up a John Doe for P. Diddy to absolutely violate. Well, that John Doe's name has been revealed because he's come out in a tell-all video, and this John Doe has revealed to be Rihanna's ex-publicist. Jonathan Hay is his name. You must have heard of it. You might have heard of it, where he's spoken up prior and done interviews, but he is speaking out about the horrific details when it comes to Diddy and what Diddy loves to do to men. Hey guys, it's Morali, daily and consistent content. Subscribe to the channel and let's get straight into this video, guys. The Diddy content just does not stop even after the trial. I just feel like Diddy content just falls on my lap because there's just so much happening with what Diddy is doing and what his followers are doing. The Didiots, that's basically what they are. I heard another content creator calling them that, and it was running around on Twitter. Whoever that content creator is, fantastic idea. Idiots, Didiots are basically, you know, Diddy's people. But we have to get into what Jonathan Hay is stating. So his lawsuit was that Biggie's son, CJ Wallace, and Diddy set up Jonathan Hay to basically be R-worded. Jonathan reveals that he basically felt P. Diddy's stick in his own mouth, and that basically Diddy, you know, plunged his stick into the man's mouth. Lord have mercy. Lord have mercy. There was a time, guys, when they were working on, you know, specific projects, and Diddy was randomly doing something under the table in front of all of them. He was jerking himself off in front of all these people. He then was saying to Jonathan Hay and to other people, "Finish me off, bro, finish me off," to the people in the room. He then finishes off on Biggie's garment, and then basically like a nut towel, and then he basically walks and throws it at Jonathan's arm, says "R.I.P. Biggie," laughs, then walks off. This man is what is described to be doing allegedly in a lawsuit. What do you think this man is doing in prison right now? Do you think I'm joking when I'm talking about this man is getting new knee pads? This man is given the Glock 4000, Glock 5000. We done upgraded now. He's probably given the Glock 7000 as we record this video. Like, I'm not even exaggerating. This man is randomly jerking himself off under a table in front of people and then throwing that towel at people. All because of ego, control. And he understands that he has to use intimacy and sex as a power move to do so. Why? Because Diddy was ran through himself via various people, and I would imagine, allegedly, that Clive Davis would be one of them. No hole was left untouched when it comes to Diddy. Not one. That man was used through thick and thin, and he learned that he needed to do it to other people because those people were doing it to him. They were controlling him in this way. They were teaching him a lesson in this way. And so therefore he thought, this is the currency, this is the language, this is why this man is constantly in these lawsuits with men doing all of this crazy stuff. This is why right now in prison, he is dropping the bar of soap on purpose. By, you know, not by accident, on purpose. Oops, I did it again, drops it. The man is probably farting on purpose as well. For those of you who don't know, when you fart in prison, from what a lot of these interviews that I've been seeing, you are basically telling the other prisoners to come and satisfy the noises that come out of the hole. Diddy's probably farting away. That's why the courtroom was smelling. A couple of weeks ago, months ago, during the trial, somebody said the courtroom was smelling. Diddy's been farting. He knows how to get the men. It's basically a form of catcalling, do you understand? And this is what Diddy is doing. Jonathan Hay goes on to describe the fact that, you know, he was shocked that Diddy was moving like this, that Diddy left ketamine everywhere, bags and bags of it for CJ and him to basically use. And he basically is going to say, I can taste his D, and that he constantly relives that moment when basically he was
by Jonathan Hay, and that Biggie's son helped to set this up. This is what Jonathan Hay also states, which I find very, very interesting. This is what he says exactly, word to word. Diddy needs to face criminal charges in California for what he did to me. This is what I'm referring to when I mean that Diddy is going to be facing other indictments in the near future. Similar to Harvey Weinstein, that man was constantly facing new criminal charges whilst he was in jail. Near the end of this man's sentence, I wouldn't be surprised, or as soon as this man gets out, I wouldn't be surprised if he is indicted again with different criminal charges in a different state of America. I can see that happening. This is the current civil lawsuit as of right now, and it was John Doe. We didn't know who that person was. Now that person is revealed to be Jonathan Hay, Rihanna's ex-publicist, who's come out to confirm he was the one that was violated via Diddy, and that Biggie's son helped set all of this up. It gives clarity and credibility when you come with your identity. It's difficult to do so, but in my opinion, if you're coming with a lawsuit and you want justice, which is why I filed the lawsuit, come with your identity, come with your full chest for a higher likeliness for that to take place. It ain't looking too good for this man Diddy at all. He goes on to say that, you know, Biggie's mother absolutely hated Diddy because she felt like Diddy was partially responsible for the passing of Biggie, and also the fact that CJ was close to Diddy.
We don't know that yet. What do we...
Do you guys remember? Probably not, because there's been so many lawsuits. But where Diddy and Biggie's son were both accused of setting up a John Doe for P. Diddy to absolutely violate. Well, that John Doe's name has been revealed for what he did to me. This is what I'm referring to when I mean that Diddy is going to be facing other indictments in the near future.
What do we not know yet, Christine? And do y'all remember, how long ago was it? Hold on. When Harvey Levin did not want to admit that he was wrong about Diddy not going home, that he was arguing kind of with Charles and whatever and that other guy. And then y'all remember when he said Diddy should have been brought up on charges in California? Do y'all remember that? And I said, California, what happened in California? Harvey, what happened in California? He said he definitely should have been brought up on charges in California. Maybe this is it. Hey, Tracy. Do y'all remember that?
And he basically is going to say, he goes on to describe the fact months ago during the trial, somebody said the courtroom was smelling. Diddy's been farting. He knows how to get the men. It's basically a form of catcalling. Do you understand? And this is what Diddy is doing.
What?
Jonathan Hay goes on to describe the fact that, you know, courtroom was smelling. For those of you who don't know, when you fart in prison, from what are loads of these interviews that I've been seeing, you are basically telling the other prisoners to come and satisfy.
Man, shut up. Now shut up. I stopped him with his mouth open. Shut up. Right now. You made that up. So now I got you with your mouth open. Now, we can laugh at him. But you ain't finna just make up nothing about no fart. I mean, come on. That has everything to do with what he ate and how it was processed in his stomach. Or not processed. It don't have you can't make yourself have no cat call with a fart. Now I'm gonna move on past you now. Don't do that no more.
The noises that come out of the hole.
Oh, shut up.
Diddy's gonna be fighting away. That's why the courtroom. Jonathan Hay goes on to describe the fact that, you know, he was shocked that Diddy was moving like this, that Diddy left ketamine everywhere.
How can you make yourself fart if you don't have to fart? How can you make yourself fart? Don't make me break down what what the gas is, it don't have nothing to do with a butt call. Stop that. You can't make yourself fart unless you already got gas.
Bags of it for CJ and him to basically use. And he basically is going to say, I can taste his D, and that he constantly relives that moment when basically he was violated by Jonathan Hay, and that Biggie's son helped to set this up. This is what Jonathan Hay also states, which I find very, very interesting. This is what he says exactly, word to word. Diddy needs to face criminal charges in California for what he did to me. This is what I'm referring to when I mean that Diddy is going to be facing other indictments in the near future. Similar to Harvey Weinstein, that man was constantly facing new criminal charges whilst he was in jail. Near the end of this man's sentence, I wouldn't be surprised, or as soon as this man gets out, I wouldn't be surprised if he is indicted again with different criminal charges in a different state of America. I can see that happening. This is the current civil lawsuit as of right now, and it was John Doe. We didn't know who that person was. Now that person is revealed to be Jonathan Hay, Rihanna's ex-publicist, who's come out to confirm that he was the one that was violated via Diddy, and that Biggie's son helped set all of this up. It gives clarity and credibility when you come with your identity. It's difficult to do so, but in my opinion, if you're coming with a lawsuit and you want justice, which is why you filed the lawsuit, come with your identity, come with your full chest for a higher likeliness for that to take place. It ain't looking too good for this man Diddy at all. He goes on to say that, you know, Biggie's mother absolutely hated Diddy because she felt like Diddy was partially responsible for the passing of Biggie, and also the fact that CJ was close to Diddy. Isn't it interesting to me, or to you guys, that, you know, Biggie's son was close to Diddy when we all feel like Diddy basically took out Biggie? And that Diddy's children are aloof to the fact that it was Diddy, I believe, that took out Kim Poulter.
They say it's the exercise you can do it. I ain't never heard of that.
But then knows how to be close to everybody else that's close to the person that he allegedly took out. Very manipulative for him to be so close to CJ, to be the stepfather. And he also alludes to the fact that, you know...
They says yoga's a yoga position. Move around, walk around, or exercise. Get a massage. Do yoga poses. Drink more liquids. Try herbs. Try baking soda. Or drink apple cider vinegar. I mean, but that's just not... He don't have that in prison. They don't have apple cider vinegar and all of that in prison. They don't have baking soda, do they? I don't know. Do they have it on the commissary? Maybe they have it on the commissary. But he wasn't doing none of that. None of this in court. He said he was doing it in court. He was not in no yoga position. He didn't get a massage. He wasn't moving around, walking or exercising. He didn't have no apple cider vinegar, no herbs, or no baking soda. He ain't have it in court. He was talking about court. But I ain't never heard of that. But I you know, baking soda, I do know baking soda would get all of that up out of there. It'll get more than a fart.
CJ and Diddy had some kind of relationship as well. Crazy allegations, and some people are not believing it, and I can understand.
It'll also help get rid of it'll alkaline your water. Yeah. And sometimes when you pour more than a pinch and you realize, oh Lord, yeah, a whole bunch of stuff. Let me stop.
And why? But guys, just imagine Diddy just randomly touching himself, jerking himself in front of a meeting, and you're just in the meeting thinking, what is this man doing? This man is perverted. He is sick, and he doesn't understand boundaries because he doesn't care for them. You cannot rehabilitate this behavior. No program can rehabilitate this man.
Okay,
it's one thing if you're
I gotta get on to the other guy. I should have left you when yeah. See, I don't know nothing about all of that. But I ain't saying. But I do know the apple cider vinegar and baking soda will get you right on. Yeah. Anyway, hold on. I think I got one more. I'm drinking my my Paragard right now to get rid of them parasites. I'm trying to get it together. Oh, here we go. Here we go. Here we go again. Now I didn't know that this person did an interview. What time is it? It's already late.
By saluting.
I may do it tomorrow.
I see you in the comment section, brother. But if you send me with real life,
yeah, real life.
If you, I don't see you in the comment section. I want to start off by saluting the brother Aaron Jones.
Shout out to Aaron.
And that Cash App came through with a $200 donation. I didn't even see it. You came through early today.
Shout out to you.
A $200 donation. And I put it on the screen just as an interview that Jonathan. Let's get into this because we got to get to this.
Okay, y'all. Please get the likes up.
Early today, and I did an interview. I mean, I gave.
Good night. Tammy, you gotta hear this when you don't want. Good night from War-Torn Portland. Oh, bless you. Is it bad? What do you mean war-torn? Portland, Oregon? Bless you. I know they had that, and they really hadn't said nothing about that in Portland. Yeah, I was going to say, yeah. But once that happened and he found out that he was to the right, you see, we ain't said he don't moved on. Oh, but baby, listen, them Epstein files up. I'm sure it'll be all over the place. Definitely by Wednesday, since they done got them emails with King Charles and Andrew. Yeah. Oh, yeah. He better stay. Yeah. Oh, it's coming. Didn't I tell y'all last week? I can't remember what happened. And I said, watch it start leaking. Watch stuff start leaking. Who did he made mad? And I said, watch and see stuff start leaking. Well, yeah. Sometimes. Prince Andrew and Charles was communicating by email. They saying he needs to leave Britain. He needs to leave. He's a disgrace. What's gonna come out? Yes, indeed.
And so, Real Life Productions, they salute to them. I'm gonna put a link to their video.
Yeah, I gotta watch it. I'm gonna watch it. I'm gonna probably play it tomorrow.
Don't know what's going on and need to get caught up. Basically, what's going on is this. Basically, you guys, this situation has gotten out of control.
Diddy knew all of this stuff was coming.
There was a lawsuit that was out. There was allegations against Sean Diddy Combs and the situation surrounding him and the son of the late great notorious B.I.G. C.J. Wallace. Now, I told you guys in those allegations, man, that you guys see on your screen right here, on the left-hand side, his name's Jonathan Hay. That is his actual picture. Jonathan Hay, who was a celebrity publicist and producer. You guys can go look him up, look up all his information. And he actually was working on the notorious B.I.G. estate. They was working on they partnered into a recording contract.
Thank you.
See back in 2020.
I know you lying.
But anyway,
Valentine.
He made claims.
He talked about throwing kids out, it being. He talked about pedo stuff too. Did you realize that? He talked about his homeboy and throwing kids out, doing all type of crazy stuff. Plugging them and, no. He was sick. That was a sick man. Yeah. If you listen to his raps, he didn't mean it back. What you mean? What? Now I know something wrong with you. Because you finna find out a whole bunch of stuff. He knew exactly what was going on back then. Are you crazy? Now you gonna, so now you being rude and disrespectful. You got to go back in timeout.
And in his claims, he claimed that Diddy, while they were in a warehouse, he broke down the whole story, right? And to the brother who says we believe anything anybody says, no, sir, we don't believe anything anybody says. We've called out people we don't believe. But this guy, I do believe. If you got a problem with that, you kiss my ass. I do believe him. Janet Jackass. His credentials are there and everything is there. I believe him. You got a problem with that, you can kiss my ass.
Oh no, that ain't came out
Point
yet.
blank, period. I believe him. I believe his
I think
allegations
Tom
against Diddy.
Hanks'
I believe
name
him.
was on there, but
You damn right I
not on no list
So,
like that. But I don't know.
Anyways, he basically broke
Chris
down the whole
Tucker,
story in the interview.
you know, it was a few people
Where
names that went to
this is
parties.
provable information. You can see it right there online. It's provable information that he was a part of this.
You don't
Biggie
know
Smalls
where I'm
project.
from.
It's right there online. You can go look it up.
I don't care
Anyway,
what
it says it right
time,
there.
what
So,
year. He was talking
he
about
made
doing
these
nasty
claims
shit.
that again he went into the
And he was bisexual or
they were
gay.
at this warehouse because they were preparing for something, he said, some event surrounding Biggie.
Now go
So
run
they
tell
were at
that.
this warehouse with all the Biggie's, wardrobes and stuff was being kept, and he says that while they were there, Diddy was sitting down, and he said he seen Diddy was like, he had like a Biggie jersey over him, but he seen Diddy kind of like playing with himself under the jersey. He said he couldn't really tell what Diddy was doing. He's like, what is he doing? Is he like doing that in front of me? Or he said, nah, he got to be just scratching himself. But he said he realized that Diddy was like sitting in front of him, watching a flick, like watching a X-rated flick right in front of him, right? And pleasuring himself, choking his chicken, right? So then he says that in the midst of him choking his chicken, he says Diddy told him, hey, come over here and finish me off. And he was like, nah, dude, I'm not finna do that. Nah, I don't want to do that. So he says that Diddy finishes himself off and threw the jersey on him. Then he claimed that Diddy got up, threw it on him, and walked out. And he had all that stuff all over him from what Diddy used that as a rag, right? So he said he felt humiliated. He walked
You
out,
was into
smoked a
that
cigarette,
too?
didn't know what to do.
He ain't lying.
Didn't tell that one girl he said he was with, but he said that they were working on this project. They were working on this Biggie Smalls project, which it is confirmed he was working on the project, right? And he said that he was linked up
You
with
in
TJ Wallace.
denial. You act like you that Clayton guy. That Clayton Howard guy. He ain't lying. You know you in such defense of Diddy. Yeah, I'm
Working
looking
on the
at you.
project, right?
You one of them.
And he says that he was linked up with TJ Wallace, Biggie's son, right? Now, he
No,
says
you
Biggie's
ain't my
son
friend
and a
talking
rapper
like
named
that.
Willie Mack. They
Willie
were
Mack.
together on this project. Now he says that Diddy and them, he went and told CJ Wallace what Diddy did to him. Now he said when he told CJ Wallace immediately they called off the entire Notorious B.I.G. project. He said they called it off. So he says that he kind of felt like, down about that. They called it off. Like that was a project they were working on for real. And he just called it off. But he said that a few weeks later,
I'm agree
CJ
with you,
calls him
Lisa.
back.
I'm looking
Says when CJ calls
like,
him back,
oh wait,
CJ calls him
what?
back and tells him, hey man, it's back on. The project's back on. Let's get right to it. So he says that they get him to come back. Now he says when he comes back, he says that the rapper named Willie Mack starts trying to do weird things with him too, right? Now he says that he's not gay. He never gave them any impression he was gay. In fact, he had a girlfriend. Now, he says, also he claimed, and this is the part where a lot of people are talking about this in the comment section, and I'm going to put a link to that video so you guys can go see it yourself. You guys can go right to the 10-minute mark of this interview, 10-minute mark of the interview, and just hit play and move forward from hitting play. Now, in that interview, the 10-minute mark, right? In that interview, hold on, y'all. Hold on one second. So this dog, shut up. Hold on a second. My bad, y'all. The dog's out there acting a fool. So he says, and if you listen to the interview, he says the greatest bisexual rapper of all time, the Notorious B.I.G. And people went absolutely crazy when Jonathan Hay said that. And they are going crazy in the comment section right now of that video. And I'm going to put a link to that video. He straight up accused the Notorious B.I.G. of being bisexual. And then he claimed that his son, C.J. Wallace, also was having a boyfriend thing with the rapper Willie Mack, that he claims tried something on him and that he claims helped facilitate Diddy's sexual assault against him, when he says that they called him back, blindfolded him, like they were going to do something when they were working on a project, and then Diddy comes in and he says Diddy starts talking about how he ain't this, how he ain't shit, how he ain't that, how he don't deserve to be working on the Biggie Smalls project and stuff like that. And then he alleges that Diddy shoved his beefcake in his mouth, right? And he said he can still taste it to this day. Now, him making those claims against Biggie, man, bro, Notorious B.I.G., we all grew up on Biggie, man. Legendary rapper, bro. Some people have had some things with Biggie's lyrics in some of his songs.
Yep.
But I've never heard somebody come out and straight up say this. And that kind of just set me back when I heard that today, that he said that he made that claim.
What did he say?
Now, from where I had gotten to, what I seen, he didn't elaborate on why bro, Notorious B.I.G., we all grew up on Biggie, man.
What did he say?
Rapper, bro. Willie Mack, that he claims tried something on him and that he claims helped facilitate Diddy's sexual assault against him, when he says that they called him back, blindfolded him, like they were going to do something when they were working on a project, and then Diddy comes in.
You're going to find something wrong with everybody. When you like a pedo.
You don't deserve to be working
you like
on the
pedo
Biggie
men.
Smalls project and stuff like that. And then he alleges that Diddy shoved his beefcake in his mouth, right? And he said he can still taste it to this day.
Oh, he wouldn't have it to this day.
Now, him making those claims against Biggie, man, bro, Notorious B.I.G., we all grew up on Biggie, man. Legendary rapper, bro. Some people have had some things with Biggie's lyrics in some of his songs. But I've never heard somebody come out and straight up say this.
Say what?
And that kind of just set me back when I heard that today, that he said that he made that claim. Now, from where I had gotten to, what I seen, he didn't elaborate on why he called Biggie Smalls bisexual. I don't know what type of evidence he had for that claim.
President Valentine, do you know we don't troll over here? I thought I told you that before.
He claims that him and that rapper Willie Mack,
I thought I told you that.
Boyfriend relationship.
What you say smart so I can get you up out of here.
Biggie Smalls and his son both were, you know.
Okay, get your ass up out of here. Because that's what you are. Y'all say bye to the male lover.
It got me thinking crazy, man, because Biggie was one of my favorite rappers growing up. You know, I like Tupac and I like Big.
Get on up out of here.
And now that he said that, and I'm like, man, bro, like, it just set me back.
Why?
To hear him say that. It set me back to tonight.
What did I hear him say?
When I heard him say that.
I missed it.
What I'm going to do is, I told you guys, just so that nobody thinks that we're over here selling wolf tickets, which we don't do around here.
Nope.
I'm going to put a link.
But that's been out though.
In the comment section right now.
He was in that
And you guys
video
can
with
go hear
that
this for yourself. These
dude with that Adam's
accusations.
apple that looked
Go
like
right
a
to the
girl a
10-minute
long
mark,
time ago. When they was in a
right?
jacuzzi or something.
I'm gonna put in the comments link to the video here, and you can go right to the 10-minute mark, or you can start from the beginning, however you want, because they got right to it, and he pretty much says it all.
Yeah, I'm gonna check it out tonight.
Now I'll put the link at the top of the comments. You guys see the link right there, and you guys can go check it for yourselves. This guy.
Okay, well, what did he
He
say?
threw me off guard when he said it today. Say that because of some. Say that because of some lyrics in Biggie's raps.
Yep.
Or did he say that from some type of experience or something that he personally know?
Oh well, yeah. About that's what I was talking about, throwing a
But
kid.
that threw me back today.
Out
I'm not even going front.
Yeah, he said it in
So
his
you guys,
lyrics.
I put a link to this at the top of the comment section to that video. You
We got to
guys
be
can go
mindful
the
what we're
10-minute mark,
listening
just
to.
listen on, and you'll hear him say it. And then he'll get into CJ Wallace. Like I said, it just threw me back when I heard that today, man. Because like I said, I grew up, you know, a fan of both, you know, Tupac and Biggie.
And he,
And I
guess he
like
didn't
Biggie,
know it was
you
in
know
the
what I'm saying,
song, so he was just
as a
jamming it
rapper.
and never
And,
heard what he
you know, I
said.
never heard of any type of allegations like that surrounding Biggie until he said that. You know, I've heard of people criticize Biggie's lyrics and things like that. I've heard people even talk about certain things that they said were in music videos. They allege they were in music videos. But I never heard anybody come straight out and say that about the Notorious B.I.G. until today, when Jonathan said that. Somebody in the comment section said Jonathan said that CJ told him his dad was bi. Well,
Okay.
I'd like to hear a statement from CJ Wallace on that. You know,
I ain't never heard him be this quiet. Hey, y'all?
yeah, man.
He's shocked, ain't he?
You guys.
Is he shocked?
Somebody said, what song was it that was in the video that you heard about the video? I think it was it the Juicy video? I can't remember what video it was. It was one of the ones. I think it might have been a Juicy video. I'm not sure. You know, I think that hold on. I think Gene Deal was the one that said that though. I believe. Hold on, you guys, and I want to say this. I believe. I can't remember if it was Gene Deal who talked about that video.
I seen it.
You know, Diddy's.
I can't remember if he. Yeah, it was Gene Deal. Gene said it. It was Gene said it. It was Gene. Gene said that. Gene said that. I'm gonna play it for y'all right now. Shout out to my boy Art Dialogue is a legend, man. He get all the interviews, bro.
She was already.
He get all the interviews,
dancer,
man.
like I met her at a strip club.
It was Art Dialogue who said it. It was Gene Deal who said it on Art Dialogue.
It's like
I got it right here.
Right when you leave Quad.
Don't be running out the door with your television.
Hold on. That's not it. Hold on. Here it is right here.
Oh, he's playing Gene.
Family, if I'm not mistaken, they hired a lawyer, and I think Jay-Z, he uses the same lawyer, but, you know, they hired a lawyer to investigate Diddy and Tupac murder. How you feel about that? Well, if Tupac family hired investigators, and a lot of times investigators, they get more information out of people and from people than the cops do. You understand what I'm saying? So now, they may go back and listen to some of the Art of Dialogue interviews, especially about that check that Zip had. And the investigators will try to find out where it came from, why it came, and who gave it, and what was the reason it was given, because they are trying to implicate Zip as being the person that got the money that Keefy D was supposed to get. Now, this is what...
Are y'all still here?
The internet, this is what Greg Kading, this is what all
Give me a one, y'all, if y'all still here. Y'all may be
Gene Deal's
gone.
not saying that. Gene Deal said, yeah, I saw the check for $1 million. And I told y'all what the check was for, because Zip told us for Black Ground Records, Barry Hankinson, and old boy gave it to them. So now, it comes out years later that Puff paid somebody $1 million and gave it to Zip. But it was supposed to go to Keefy D now. Now, where that came from, I don't know. But maybe Tupac family want to do some research themselves and find out themselves. You get what I'm talking about?
Right. But with everything that you know, right, what do you think Tupac family should be mad at Diddy about?
I think the family should be mad at Diddy creating the atmosphere, as well as Suge Knight.
Yeah.
And Pac had a lot to do with it himself. Pac had a lot to do with it himself. Because Pac knew that Big had nothing to do with him being shot that night. And Big didn't know anything about it.
And was
so
hurt.
Yeah, they should be upset with Diddy and Suge for creating the atmosphere to sell records, as well as the media. But Pac has a lot to do with that too.
Speaking of Big, and I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe you can tell me, because I always heard this rumor. Is it true that the main girl in the Big Papa video is a transsexual?
Yeah.
Yeah. She got the Adam's apple.
Yeah. That's the girl. The girl. Yeah. True. Yeah.
Now, Gene, he confirmed that in the Big Papa video, he confirmed that, I don't know if that was a love interest or what in that video.
Yep, it was.
But that was basically a transvestite, a transformer, right? Now, me personally, like I said before, I need to hear CJ Wallace's side.
I don't know
before I go
why.
off any allegations that, Big Smalls, was bisexual.
Ask Faith. Right? She know.
Now, for you guys who are asking, well, what are you talking about, Ticket? What is this girl? Well, I'm going to tell you guys.
Faith Evans know.
The picture of the man they said that was a transformer in that video.
She have an Adam's apple.
Right? There it is right there. Now, that's the picture of who they said was the transformer that, Big allegedly had in that Big Papa video. Right? And Gene confirmed that in the interview with Art of Dialogue.
That with Diddy and Suge for creating the atmosphere to sell records, as well as the media. But Pac has a lot to do with that too.
Speaking of Big, and I don't know if this is true or not, but maybe you can tell me, because I always heard this rumor. Is it true that the main girl in the Big Papa video is a transsexual?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's the girl. The girl. Yeah.
It was a
So,
transsexual in there, and she ended up getting killed.
Yeah, I heard the same thing too, man. I think that that gingerbread the transgender, they killed themselves or whatever. Yeah, but it was a transgender way back then.
And no one knew she was a transsexual.
Yeah, they.
I guess not.
Yes, they did.
Or somebody did know that.
Yeah, she had a whole Adam's apple.
But didn't tell the artist.
Yeah, the whole Adam's
If you're
apple.
paying for a bunch of different apps, that's excessive. But if you can get the YouTube,
They played like that, man. That was what was that? It wasn't Hype Williams, was it? It was one of those guys who was big at that time, and they was doing all kind of videos. What's the director that did the video? Was it Hype Williams or the other guy? Benny Medina, Benny something? Nah, it wasn't Benny Boom. I can tell you that now. Let me look it up.
Yeah, she had a whole.
Hype Williams.
He had a whole Adam's
A lot of
apple.
them dudes was into that lifestyle, man. And you can't tell me that they didn't know. They probably knew, but they ain't telling artists that. The artists don't pick the dancers in the video. But it was a transgender.
I hope CJ Wallace speak out on this with these allegations that
This the first time Ticket done heard this. It sounds like he distraught.
I hope he speaks out against about those allegations and the ones that are made against him as well.
Oh no, Diddy done turned them out, baby.
You guys, y'all can go.
Okay, y'all. I gotta go. It's 12:30. I gotta go sleep. I can't be up all night tonight. I'll see y'all later tomorrow. I'll try to check it out and see what they talking about. But I know I done a long time ago. I think on them. Yeah, that came out a long time ago. That girl had a whole Adam's apple. That guy. Yeah. But Diddy been into that type of stuff for a long time. Okay, y'all. Good night. Don't let the bad bug bite. Bye-bye.